One of the things they don't tell you in real estate school is how crazy people can be. And trust me, people can be nuts. You see what I'm talking about? What I wanted to talk to you about today is it's kind of a funny thing. You're never going to hear these stories unless you're sitting with a group of realtors, right? Because they're horror stories, and that sounds a little dramatic, but there's a lot of funny stuff that goes on, unexpected things that you just wouldn't hear unless everybody's sitting around, maybe having drinks or something like that. And I'm not judging. I tell you what, I think a lot of times people will do things that surprise even them because they're under stress. Buying a house, selling a house, that's stressful. And I think sometimes people respond in ways that even they don't expect. So that's what today's deal is about some of the funny stuff that's happened. I saw this article on Inman, and I'm going to try to do this more frequently, a couple of times a week, articles that I think are funny that you'll enjoy to get sort of the backstory on real estate. Something else I'm going to do too, and if you can, I know most of you are going to be on replay for this, but I'm going to, once a week, I'm going to do how much homes cost in Nashville. If you'd be interested in that, we'll look at different areas and look at the houses that are sold. Can't show you anything active, but we can show you sold stuff. But if that seems interesting, leave a comment, something like that. I really love this new format, just getting used to it, and I appreciate you dropping by, even if especially if it's on a replay. I really appreciate it a lot. So let's get started with some of the insane things that people ask for. This first one, I can't say I've ever had one of these. I may paraphrase these because they're not necessarily well written. But according to this one couple, they were working with this client they were looking at a property that was really well decorated. I hope I've got this right. Yeah, we're looking at the right camera. Good deal. Okay, yeah. And once the couple toured the house, they told them that a fact that the contract that made them laugh. According to them, the house looked haunted. They wanted to hire a home inspector who'll search for ghosts at night in the house. If the owner had allowed the contract, they would have been living in that house today. I don't know that we have any paranormal inspectors in Tennessee. Maybe, do we? I don't know if we do or not. Ghosts, that's the first one. Here's the next one, and now I've actually had this situation. In this particular case, somebody's selling their house, right? And they've got a flower garden that they just love. And what they want to do is, here it is. The problem, okay, there was this one time I encountered a home seller whose property included a stunning rose garden. It was so stunning that she wanted to take it with her when she moved. The problem was she hadn't purchased the replacement home yet. When the seller countered the client's offer, she included the term stating that 2 months after close of escrow, here in Tennessee we don't call it that, but after closing, she'd come back, dig up the rose garden, and take it to her new house. I have had that before. It wasn't an entire garden, but it was a rose bush, maybe 2. And everybody agreed, and it was all right, but coming back after the closing to get flowers. How about that? Now on this one, I can't tell you the number of times I've shown a house, and I've been doing this a minute, decade and a half or so, not that that matters. But you're going through a house and there'd be like this sweet little pup in there, a sweet little cat, whatever the case is. And a lot of times I've had buyers say, God, I wish they'd leave the dog. It's such a nice little dog, you know? Well, in this particular case, this is just the backwards. Here's the weird one. The seller actually wanted a contract clause that insisted that the buyer adopt the dog. According to the seller, it means more for the dog to live in the same house rather than living with them. How do they know that? How do you... I'm sure that's the way you feel, Ruffy. As the dog was born in this house, the seller wanted it to breathe its last in the same place. Makes me feel like maybe the dog's a little bit old. Take the dog, I insist. This one struck me funny. There was a supermodel that somebody was showing a house to, showed interest in a place. So they scheduled it, did the showing. Everything went well. But she had this one request. What she had requested to put in the contract from the agent was this: to not allow police to enter the residence no matter what happens. So you include that in real estate. So they, can you imagine, that's in the contract? They knock on the door. Sorry, you can't come in. Here's the contract. That's crazy. So anyway, she didn't buy the house because they couldn't provide that assurance to her. Hello, officer. Now this one's crazy. I've never had this, but every time I show a house, buyers will go in and they'll test the water pressure for bathrooms and stuff like that. In this particular case, one of the clients wanted to use every bathroom or take a shower of the property before buying it. He put that in the contract. The seller said yes, and they bought the house. That's crazy. People are nuts. Hey, listen, I have a lot of fun with this kind of stuff, and still getting used to it. Hey, you know, the flow is not the way I want, but it'll get better. Again, I'm going to start doing how much homes in Nashville, how much do homes cost in Nashville every week. And if you like that idea, leave a comment or something, will you? I sure appreciate it. See you around.